Welcome to Vegas Revealed, episode 31. You know, one of our great Las Vegas shows has now closed for good. We talk with one of the singers from Reve at the Wynn about how the cast and crew found out and what they're feeling about that today, plus the outlook for other shows opening back up on the Las Vegas Strip.
And bars must remain closed in Las Vegas unless they serve food. The news has local bar owners upset. What we know. This and much more coming up on Vegas Revealed.
This episode of Vegas Revealed is sponsored by Vegas.Pizza, a virtual pizzeria with delivery right to your door.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas.
We are back. It's mid-August, and boy, it has been hot in Las Vegas. I'm Dayna Roselli.
And I'm Sean McAllister. I'm surprised that we haven't burned up by now. I mean, here in Las Vegas, we've had a record stretch of heat for August. It's been up in the 110, 111, 112, 113, 114. Out in Death Valley, they set a record. It was 130 degrees. That's
Woo!
disgusting.
It is, man. And now it's even feeling a little steamy because we're seeing, our first sign of monsoon finally, which is cool when the clouds roll in and we, get a little bit of rain, but you can feel it out there. So you add in a little bit of sticky on top of the 110 and it is not fun, but it's the desert and, it doesn't last too long. That's the good thing.
Well, and for people who've been out here in Las Vegas in late July into August and September, this is what we call monsoon season. This is typically when, moisture flows into the desert, when we get these really like downpours of rain, thunderstorms, and when flash floods happen. But we've not really seen any of it. I think the last rainfall was mid-April. And then we finally, just within the past few days, got a few other kind of scattered sprinkles of rain, but nothing serious. I am waiting for a good thunderstorm. I love cloudy, rainy days.
I know. Well, we, grew up in New York State where we got a lot of those. And now it's so rare that you actually look forward to it. The other day when it did rain, it's so funny because it depends where you are. That's how the desert is. And I don't know, you said you did see some rain. So we drove home you and I were doing some media training, drove from Henderson up to where I live near the Strip. And I still never saw a drop. So,
well, I never actually saw a drop of rain. The roads were a little bit wet, but then by the time I got to my house, and I live in Henderson, so even like little parts of Henderson got rain. It wasn't even a widespread thing. I have a radar app on my phone just so I can see where the little pockets are, and I'm so tempted just to drive to where the rain is, just to get a taste of it.
I know. It's exciting. Everyone looks forward to it. People around the country think we're weird, but
It's true. It's an event. It's an event whenever it rains here. And we get excited about it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Listen, bar owners not excited this week. We found out, we thought there was going to be an announcement just last week about bars being able to reopen here. So just so folks know, bars had to close during, we had the opening and everything opened, and then they had to close because they felt it was a risk because we were seeing high numbers. And now we were supposed to get an announcement hoping that they would reopen again, but that has not been the decision. They've decided to keep the bars shut down. There's no, time frame for that. They're just going to remain closed for the time being. And apparently, Sean, it's because our case numbers are elevated for transmission risk. So they feel that bars need to stay closed. And when I say bars, it's bars that don't serve food.
Yeah, and even in restaurants that have bars, you can't go and sit at the bar. You can't be, served drinks at the bar. They want to keep the congregating at the bar down, but that's also really hurting bar owners because a lot of them have game top or bar top gaming. They have the video poker at the bar top, and that's what they depend on for a lot of revenue. So, even the bars that are still operating and serving food, in which some bars have gotten creative with menu items too, so that they can, say, hey, here's our menu of food, but it's, like a bowl of chips or something. I know they were doing that in New York State too.
Yes, they were, or they are, I guess. But yeah, and it's caused such a, I guess, another kind of controversial back and forth on Twitter with everyone not really understanding what the purpose is. They don't understand if casinos and hotels can be open, why can't bars be open? It's not fair. I've got a couple people that chimed in on our Vegas Revealed Twitter, the last precinct. She said, ugh, I see common sense is still missing in action. And then Decade in the Desert, Vegas Maple Leaf says, this is so unnecessary, crushing so many, not even the direct bar staff. The knock-on effect is devastating. As an example, September 1 will ruin so many lives. So, people seem upset about it, but I guess you have to think big picture. And I know when I was hearing about the reasons of why they do it is they feel that if people go in, there's not food, they're just drinking, they get a little loose, they start getting a little bit closer, and their decision making isn't always the best.
Well, nothing positive happens when it gets all loosey-goosey like that.
Yeah. So, I assume that's the reason for the whole bar thing is they want people to think responsibly and not just go get tanked. And
can you imagine the first ladies' night once the bars open back up again and people can go out and be close and, I
don't know.
Up and going home and all that kind of stuff.
I wonder. And I wonder how long it will take for people to actually feel comfortable to do that. I don't know. I'll let other folks try it out first and then let me know how it is. Let me know how that goes. Let me know how that goes.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, it is a hit to our businesses. We feel terrible about that. Obviously, we have some great local businesses, some great small bars and medium-sized bars here in town that are itching to open and make money again. So it is hard, but I guess we have to do what the state mandates. So that's what we're doing for now.
Yeah, and something that's kind of crazy. It's still an offshoot of the whole pandemic and congregating. We've mentioned it before here on Vegas Revealed that fans are not going to be allowed inside Raiders Stadium once the NFL season kicks into high gear. That has prompted. Ooh, excuse me, I had a little thing in my throat. I don't know if you could hear. I felt like I sounded like Kermit the Frog. So that's prompted the fact that fans can't go to our brand new Allegiant Stadium to see Raiders games in the inaugural NFL season for the Raiders in Las Vegas. There's been a report that a group of season ticket holders are suing China because they are not allowed in their season ticket seats due to COVID-19. I think that's a bunch of tomfoolery.
It's interesting. You know what? Fans will think of anything, right? The diehards will do anything that they can to get themselves in front of the game. So always interesting to see what, comes of that. I don't know. Probably not going to win. What do you think?
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not going to win that one. But it is good. We're taping this on a Friday, and I did see, Allegiant Stadium saying the Raiders were in the house. And then the Raiders just tweeted Derek Carr, quarterback, running on the field for the first time out at Allegiant Stadium. So exciting times. It's getting closer. They can be there. It's just that the fans can't.
Yeah, the team's first practice on their movable turf. So I don't know if you're from out of town and you haven't seen anything about Allegiant Stadium. There's this giant tray of natural turf that slides in and out of the stadium. There's two playing surfaces. There's this natural turf that's on this tray that slides into the stadium for the Raiders, and then it slides out of the stadium, and underneath it is artificial turf that UNLV, our college football team, will play on, and that's what other events will be using as well. So it's pretty cool. Just can't wait to get inside and actually see it. Saw some pictures the other day on social media, and it looks phenomenal.
I know. I wonder if they'll do like, because I know they were originally going to do tours. So I wonder if you could do like, I don't know, 10, 6 people at a time tours to at least see the inside of Allegiant Stadium. That would be cool.
It would be nice. That it could
Yeah.
be a good consolation for the season ticket holders for sure.
Yeah, that would be. We did get some bad news last week about one of our shows. Now I've got Kermit the Frog.
My
What's
God,
going
is this
on?
fraud thing hopping around between us? The hell's going
It's
on?
it's Friday, and you and I have had a lot of business phone calls. I think our voice is finally giving out. Oh boy. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm getting all choked up because one of our shows here in Las Vegas did announce it was closing, and we're talking closing for good. Reve at the Wynn. Beautiful show inside a beautiful
Gorgeous.
theater. It's just, and it's got water and amazing singers and acrobats and dancers and so much to it. It's been open for what, 15 years
15
now.
years, yeah.
The whole cast and crew found out that they are closing for good. And a lot of people are going, well, why? It's upsetting. And I guess it comes down to the cost. John Castellamides of the Review Journal was saying that it would cost the Wynn about $4 million just to relaunch Reve with, slow hotel and casino business, theater capacity cut to about 1/3, social distancing protocols, all that. And the show just made a decision to close up. They just don't really see any hope for it for a return anytime soon where it could actually be profitable to pay everyone.
Yeah, and it's really sad news for the Las Vegas entertainment community and for all Las Vegas visitors who come to Las Vegas to see entertainment. And coming up next on Vegas Revealed, we're talking with one of the featured singers from La Reve. Andrew Ragone joins us. Stay with us on Vegas Revealed.
Vegas Revealed is sponsored by Vegas.Pizza. We know going out to eat may not be for everyone right now, and that's where Vegas.Pizza comes in.
And it is so good. They have their own homemade dough and sauce. The recipe comes straight from an old neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. And if you've had New York pizza, you know it is the bomb. Vegas.Pizza is only available for delivery apps like Uber Eats, Postmates, and Grubhub, but it's easy and it's delicious.
Oh, yeah. They've got the classic New Yorker, which who doesn't love just a classic pizza? It's so good. Or you can try something called the Barstool Pizza. That looks delicious. We can't sit at the bar, Sean, and share it, but we can still have pizza at home or at work.
There's no better food group than pizza. Vegas.Pizza. Find it on Uber Eats, Postmates, and Grubhub. This past week on the Las Vegas Strip, we saw a lot of entertainers and crew members who are part of the Las Vegas entertainment industry take to the street and picket and let people know about the impact that this entire pandemic has had on their livelihoods and on the industry that Las Vegas has really come to be known for, Dayna.
It's been so hard on everyone, and we do miss our shows and our entertainment. And on this week's podcast, we have Andrew Ragone joining us, and we're super excited. Andrew came here for Phantom of the Opera, but he's a longtime entertainer, performer, singer. He's been in many, many shows after that, and most recently in La Reve at the Wynn that we unfortunately heard is shutting down. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good. Good to talk to you guys.
It's great to have you with us.
It's good to be here, just trying to fill some time in all this downtime. We've had 5 months since our last show, which we didn't know was our last show.
I know. I always think about that when we keep hearing about these shows closing and or not coming back to the property that they were at for a long time and things like that. You never get to have that finale, and that's hard. It's almost like there's no closure, right?
Yeah, it is funny. When this was all going down in end of February, March, we were getting a lot of updates at the casino from the personal trainers that work on the show that are also doctors. And they were telling us a lot of different things about, just washing our hands and staying, socially distant and all that. And then we noticed, the crowds were starting to fall off the week before the whole thing kind of shut down. And for some reason, I remember the Tuesday night before of would have been our last show, I think March 10th. I did watch that second show and I was like, I'm going to watch this. Who knows how soon this is going to be back? We thought it was only going to be a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe max. And I did take in the show. It's funny because as a singer, one of the singers in the show, we're out kind of on the audience level. And I stood in the back and kind of watched the numbers, even the numbers I wasn't in. Just for some reason, I just had this thing in the back of my head. I was like, but it is just weird for a cast. I know the cast of this show feels so funny about not getting to say goodbye, having been a part of 2 other shows in Vegas that were big production shows and Phantom of the Opera and ShowStoppers at the Wynn. You do miss that closing day is a special thing, even though you're sad. There's something that comes together. You put so much work into a show, and it is great to send it off with in the best way possible. So it is a little, I think it's bittersweet, and I think people are having a hard time with it because of the fact that they didn't get to say goodbye to each other. The crew on the show, the cast and crew is like 275 people. So the chances that you saw everyone that night, and said goodbye to them truly was, we never really got that kind of moment, so it is a little odd.
Well, in 275 people working on just that show alone, that kind of gives people a different perspective when you look at that number and hear that number about what it really takes to stage a big production on the Las Vegas Strip. And I mean, if you can kind of go into more detail about, all the behind the scenes people that we never get to see.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's seen the Reve knows that set is just massive. And what comes with that is a ton of stage crew, stage management crew, all the divers that are below in the water, everyone that disappears under the water as the performers. There's a diver and a breathing tube for everyone that goes below the water. So you have to imagine all those people down there. We have as I said, like personal trainers that are there backstage for this. These are athletes and artists, but their bodies take a beating. So there's those people backstage that are helping them. All the coaches for the individual acts are back there. I mean, it's wardrobe. It's a huge amount of people that people don't sometimes realize in these kind of Cirque type shows that it is a massive family. And I came into the show just last year, and it's funny because you're coming into a long running show. It had already been 14 years, and I wasn't sure what to expect. Is it going to be just super impersonal because that size of amount of people? But it's so funny how everyone was super duper welcoming to me, and people that I wouldn't cross paths with much in a show because of the amount of people and maybe where the singers are, we kind of pop out in different places on the stage, but we're not always in the water and all those things. But everyone made such an effort, and you could see and feel, as someone that was coming in from the outside, the family feeling, and how so many of these people had been there for years and years, many since the beginning, in inception of the show. And I'm sure, I mean, I know the pain of like it closing, but I can't imagine, the ones that have had families and, gone through weddings and divorces and deaths and, everyone, and jobs that you have, everyone knows that it becomes a mini family. You sometimes spend more time with your work family than you do your own,
Yeah, I mean, you think about, it's hard just adjusting to what we're all going through right now, but then you throw that in the mix, and it's a huge sense of loss for everyone. Listen, I did a behind the scenes story, I don't know, about 10 years ago at La Reve, and I remember walking into that area where they were all working out, and I was like, I've never felt like I've had more body fat in my life. Like everyone was so lean, and they're like doing pull-ups like it was nothing, I mean, they work hard, they work out. People don't realize too, I mean, the cast and crews working out during the day to get ready for the show at night. So it's not like they just show up and put on a show.
Absolutely. Those acts, it takes an inhuman amount of strength to do some of the stuff that they make it look easy, of course. I'm being a singer, and I was like, oh, I felt like I was in shape. And then I went there and I was like, oh, I feel, way to make you feel inferior. And they're always like, no, you can join our workouts. Sometimes we'd have between shows, they'd be like, no, you're welcome to use the equipment. I'm like, I'm not going to stand next to that person and try to do the same thing. No, but yeah, they're even working out during the show. It's just that kind of a show where they had to constantly be working on it. Even with what was going on all these months, all those acts, there was like Zoom meetings about how to like keep those skills up, because it's not like as a singer, I can kind of go and I can practice on my own. And once you kind of know what you're doing, that's kind of like, that's our responsibility to kind of just keep your voice in shape. And yeah, that's theirs too, but they have to have the equipment and and the training to do it. It's crazy.
And there are a lot of things that made Reve a really special and unique show here in Las Vegas, and I mean really anywhere around the world. It's just a beautiful production, but live music and live vocals are one of the unique aspects that you don't always find here in Las Vegas. And so it was definitely going to be sad not to have that. How did you all, and when did you all find out that the show wasn't coming back?
Just this last Friday, we had a Zoom meeting with our VP of Entertainment, who's Rick Gray, and we thought it was just going to be, I think most people thought it was just going to be, more of the same. He had been checking in. We'd had meetings here and there, like just checking in, telling people, until the governor kind of opens this up or the situation's getting better. And then once, attendance was really lower in the midweeks for these casinos, and you're finding out all the casinos are just, besides the entertainment, they're just having their own struggles to figure out how to staff their hotels and all that stuff. So we were hearing all that stuff. We knew it wasn't in great shape, and Vegas wasn't in great shape, but we're hopeful that at least, even if it was going to be next year, we were at that point, and kind of by August, we were kind of hearing January at the earliest, possibly in the spring, because it was seeming like all the conventions were taking a hit. And as anyone that's ever lived in Vegas knows, that business on the Strip, the weekends are great normally, but midweek we depend on these giant conventions that Vegas has just been known for the last 25, 30 years, that it's the business model of how the towns run, that, you have to have these conventions to fill the rooms and the shows and all these, there's so much entertainment that you have to have those people to fill it. So we understood. I was thinking, okay, yeah, January would be tough if there's no conventions, then you heard CES had canceled and all that stuff. So you're kind of going, okay, it's going to be pushed back. And then the thought I had always was that, so much of the cast is from other countries that we know they're under visas that are work visas. And I was thinking, are they going to extend that while there's so many months until that we'd be possibly back. So there was, I started feeling in the beginning of August that there was going to be a possible, either we were going to be fully let go, and then they were just going to reopen the show at a very later date to kind of do it. Or, I didn't think necessarily they were going to close it. But as of Friday, we got the message that yes, they just kind of looked over what it would cost to reopen the show. What they were seeing was like the conventions have been canceled. Most of the conventions have been canceled till May of next year. And I think keeping people on kind of like the bait of saying, oh, it's going to open. Well, it's not going to open anytime soon. And I think most of the production, even the Cirque shows that, possibly could reopen, they're going to face the same kind of issues, that there's just not people midweek. You can't run these big shows with 200, 300 people working on them and have no one in these audiences, on midweek, and you can't just run it just Thursday, Friday, Saturday and say, we're going to pay everyone, it just, so as sad as you are, I think most people understand, and it doesn't mean you're any less devastated,
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think about, people like you. I mean, first of all, you were incredible in Phantom of the Opera at the Venetian. You were in Showstoppers and then Reve. A big part of our community. We've seen you at a lot of different events, and we don't want to lose people like that. So what do you do right now? And can you even, I guess if nothing's open, there's not really it's not like you can make a plan. Are you just going to have to see what's out there, and it may be Las Vegas or it may be somewhere else?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit dependent on what's, right now, really for, people that are not in this industry that they think that I'm sure a lot of them that know performers or whatever are used to them being in shows, finishing shows, between shows, but anyone that's been around, that's a performer, that's a performer of any sort of like career, has any longevity of a career, they've known how to I've had concerts, I do things between, I always have my hands in a bunch of different pots. Now what we do, all those things are canceled. I mean, every last bit of them. So I'm gonna probably be teaching a little bit of voice, some acting classes and stuff like that. Those are kind of coming up and stuff, but I have concerts that are scheduled with some of my castmates from ShowStoppers, and some of those have been canceled, but still, as of now, we still have some in March and April of next year that are still on the books. I think if everything goes according to plan, those are going to happen. But right now, you have to kind of roll with the punches and keep your foot forward and keep your I'm trying to you have to reinvent yourself everyone's doing. Every business I think is kind of having to pivot at some sort of way to kind of deal with this. But I really feel bad for a lot of the performers, the crew in this town. People don't realize a lot of the crew is also on conventions. That takes a huge amount of people. So it's a tough time for Vegas, and I'm hopeful, and I know Vegas is pretty smart about how to bounce back, but it's going to take a little bit longer for entertainment, I think, than for most other forms of. I think people will rush back to Vegas. They're gonna want to, once this is done and we're we have found a vaccine or some sort of way of dealing with it. If you get it, I think people are going to be like, okay, I'm ready to brave the crowds and kind of feel like I can let loose a little bit. And we know that will happen, but yeah. For the entertainment, I think it's going to take a little bit longer. So I think all of us are having to be a little bit, kind of keep, change a little bit. I'm hopeful people will just, stay with it. Things will happen. New things will happen,
Yeah. And I know there's definitely pent up demand. I know Dayna and I have talked on many occasions and just how badly we want to be back inside of a packed bar.
I know.
So it's like that craving to be around people is still there.
Yeah. Or just, sit back with a glass of wine and watch a great show or something. I mean, it's just, it's missed. And I know that a lot of our followers on social media are always asking, when do the shows open back up? And we're like, there is no answer and nobody knows, and we're not allowed to have ticketed events right now. So it's not like some shows can open and others can't. Right now, everyone is literally in the same boat.
Yeah. Everyone's in the same boat,
And so, not to make light of the situation or anything, but have you picked up any new hobbies since everything's been shut down?
I've been helping friends on construction, home repairs, weird stuff that I was never interested or had any passion to do, but then was like, okay, I cannot watch any more Netflix. I'm tapped out. I mean, I can watch it at night, but I'm like, I can't spend all day. That March and April, and by May, I was like, okay, I need something to do, And so I've been doing that. I've been trying to.
Is there like a YouTube channel now where we can watch Andrew Spackle a wall?
I know. While he's singing, maybe you could sing some Phantom while you're doing the wall.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh God. No one needs to see those janky repairs.
I love it. Well, listen, Andrew, we hope you stay in Vegas. We love having you here. You've been a part of really just the show world and entertaining the world, because everyone comes here from all over the world for so many years. We hope to see you in something again soon. Probably will be 2021, but we'll be here for it. We'll have the
Yep.
popcorn ready.
I'm anxious to be back and see you guys both live in person. Yeah.
I
There you
know,
go.
I know. Hopefully in a packed bar or in
Oh
a
my
packed
God, yeah.
showroom with entertainment in front of us. Andrew, thank
right.
you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
All right. Take care. Stay with us. Our tips are coming up next.
Thanks for listening to Vegas Revealed. As always, we appreciate you, and we want to hear from you too.
That's right. We have a lot of ways that we can hear from you. And one of them is going to our website, vegas-revealed.com. There we've got video clips, we have articles, also all our podcasts are listed. But we also have an email there that you can just click on. It's called ideas@vegas-revealed.com. You can write us and let us know what you want us to talk about. We want to hear from you. But we also love the reviews, Sean, that's for sure.
That's right. Click on those little stars, as many of them as you can, and also go down below and write up a quick review, what you like about the podcast, and maybe even what you'd like to hear.
Yeah, we always appreciate that. It really helps if you could subscribe and review us, especially on Apple Podcasts. It really helps just, have us show up in some of the search engines. So we appreciate you. We thank you for listening. And if you could take a moment and do that, we would love it. Also, again, check out our website, vegas-revealed.com.
All right, welcome back. It's time for Dayna and Sean's tips. And Sean, yesterday I went to the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace, and
What a fun outing that is.
yeah, I was thinking, I feel like a lot of people might not realize that it's open. So I thought, hey, tip time, it is open. And there were people there, they were shopping, but, not every single store was open. So there were most stores that were open. And let me tell you, Sean, it was not busy. So there's a bonus if you don't want the crowds. It's sad to see. However, when talking to a lot of the store owners, we're in like Polo Ralph Lauren and stuff, they were saying, it's not that busy during the week, but it does get, busy on the weekend, which is the good thing. And that's when more people are coming to Vegas now. It seems like obviously the weekends are busier. We don't have that convention business during the week.
Well, and it's, whether people are looking to shop or whether people are ducking their heads inside to try and get some air conditioning,
Exactly.
people are still going in.
Yeah, you got to wear your mask in there, but you know what? It was good to get out and walk around, and it's cool in there. They've got the sky above you, and it's a pretty place. It's cool, like you said, and it's something different, even if you just
What
want
about the restaurants? Are the restaurants open?
Yeah, so I ate at True Food Kitchen in there, which opened a short time before the pandemic hit, actually. You and I had went to one of the media openings, and it was delicious. And I was glad to see that it's still open. Now, it was not busy at the time, but I had been there once before, a few weeks ago, and the food is great. It's healthy, it's flavorful, and that is sad to see that it wasn't busy, but the staff is so nice in there, and they get so excited when they get a table. So if anyone can go support them, great people over there, great food. But no, the restaurants were open, and what I did notice was the busy ones were like Joe's Crab.
Oh yeah, Joe Stone Crab.
Joe's Stone Crab. Now that was really busy because you could see the patio, it's an indoor patio that they have in the front was full. So was the restaurant Trevi right near the fountain there in the center.
Yep.
Yeah, that was full. It was socially distanced, but as full as it could be. So I was thinking, why are those places busy and some of the others aren't? And I was thinking, well, if you're in Vegas and you're on a type of vacation, maybe you're doing a little bit of gambling, hitting the pool, the only other thing to do is look forward to is to go out to a nice dinner. So it seemed like the places that were kind of, have a meal, have some drinks, sit down with your family or friends, those places seemed to be bustling, which was really good to see.
Yeah, but True Food that's a great spot. And I know, Dayna, you'd told me that you'd noticed that they have TVs in there. And as the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue, they'll likely have the games on at True Food Kitchen and at True Food Bar over there. So could be a good spot to catch some sports when you're down on the Strip.
Exactly. Get out a little bit. So, and everyone was wearing a mask, unless they were sitting down and eating or drinking. So that was good to see as well. And it has to happen. It's a rule. So, we wanted to talk about something else we've been doing this week.
Yeah, you look on LinkedIn, you talk to your friends, you flip on the news, that a lot of people are looking for jobs right now. And one of the I guess, adapting to the new way that things are, a lot of job interviews are being done on Zoom or Skype or Google Meets. It's a video conference kind of thing. And we just wanted to mention, Dayna and I have a media training aspect to our company, Insightful Media. And, if you are looking to brush up on interview skills and get ready and be prepared for a big interview that you may have coming up, we can help.
Yeah, and a lot of the big executives are also doing, interviews for television programs. And you and I, we always scroll through and we go, oh, he needs better lighting on him, or oh, that shot's off. But there are little things that you can do with your computer setup to really have a nice, a nice shot, and it makes such a difference. And a lot of times people aren't used to doing these interviews by just staring at a camera with no one else in the room. And we've been helping a couple clients recently. They've been really happy with the results, and we just wanted people to know that we do this. Sean and I have been in broadcasting, combined, well over 30 years, and we have a lot to share, and we want to work with you. And we can also do it virtually. It doesn't have to be in Las Vegas. So, we can do these sessions on Zoom, and I think it would make a big difference for a lot of people out there that are a little bit uncomfortable with this kind of new way.
Yeah, so you can we have a website. It's insightfulmediaco.com, insightfulmediaco.com. So hit us up. Let us know if you are interested.
Yeah. And if you think that you listen to our podcast and these guys are awful, then don't hire us, and that's fine.
But we guarantee we'll have fun.
That's right. All right, another Vegas Revealed podcast in the books. I can't believe we're at episode 31 already.
I know. We'll see you back next week for number 32.
But the neon lights burn bright.